How's it going, man?
It's going good. That fucking loop. I hate.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Friday night. Oh, it's time to go see what's in the bag. I'm excited.
Yes.
Yes, He-Man. What's in the bag? You big bulbous buffoon. What's the matter? Roids hurt your healing, make you deaf? Yes.
Yeah. I ain't right. I don't know if anybody's ever realized that. But, hey.
Remember, that boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. I'll tell you what, Bobby. And then I'm off to my next great adventure.
Damn it, Bobby. You melted the barrel of the MG42 against the wall, boy.
Oh, man.
Why can't we all just get along?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's a nuts one, man. So I went around this week and I went around to various channels and was networking with a bunch of people on the channels I really like to watch is Master Swag King. He does the Iron Man podcast. And oh hey, awesome. And so I Master Swag King and Iron Man podcast, and I happen upon this creator, Jesse Blaze, and he's got this book. It's so outrageous, it's hilarious, and I was like, well, wait a minute, and I'm listening to what he's putting down, and I'm like, this is actually really clever. Like it's something different, I was like, holy moly, no, this should be making more money. Let's get the word out here and all this other fun stuff. So you want to go ahead and bring him out?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
let's welcome to the show.
Bring this fella out.
Jesse Blaze Snyder, the writer of "Fucking for Our Future."
How's it going, guys? Dude, it still makes me laugh. I said to my friend last night, I'm like, there's a moment during the trailer that we made that'll play when I go on these shows, and I will laugh a laugh that I can only call irony, because to me, this is like the last project I'd ever be caught dead doing. This is the type of project that gets me stopped and prevented from working for Marvel and DC and Disney and all these companies that I literally spent 30 years dedicating to being the best man to be hired for any of those jobs. And what a sign that I have completely fucking given up on that and decided that is no longer my interest, that I went, fuck it. Leaned into something that would basically get me fucking outcast from my crowd.
Yeah, well, we're a couple of honorary old vets over here, so this is like our type of stuff where it's like, oh no, now you're making fun of them, and they get to take part of the joke. It's fun. It's all in good fun, right? And it's funny. The book really is in good fun, and if somebody really wanted to take like a at it, maybe they could. But the reality is, I'm treating all of the people in the book like human beings. And my princess character, who's our main character, who's riding the power armor, I care about her, already. She's motivated to do what she's doing because she wants to, she's the princess. She's been given everything, she's advantaged. I know what that's like when you feel like people are making you feel like you're advantaged, and she wants to do something to show people that no, I'm here, and the princess means something to me. I'm going to do something for my country, and she's been given this terrible task that she has nothing to do with being responsible for. She's not one of the people who 1,000 years ago decided men suck and, the women are better and we're going to go up north and we're going to make our own civilization. She is the ancestors of the people who decided they didn't need the men, they needed to move on. So she has like a completely abstract opinion on her society that she lives in, and it's great because I'm getting a comment on the fact that just because you have boobs doesn't mean you're feminine. You know, a society of females does not mean a society of feminine energy. It means the same thing that it means when there's men and women. And I think it's very easy to blame the penis, but there are two different energies, you know, at play at all times, masculine and feminine, and both people have them. I'm very feminine. You know, my masculine energy was something I had to work on because, like, I'm, you know, I'd be considered like non-binary. I hate all those little definitions.
Yeah,
but
no,
you know, I'm a unique person who's not exactly felt, you know, in line with everybody else. And I've always been big supporter of the LGBT community, who only ever fucking wanted acceptance.
Right.
And now what's happening is they're just waving that shit in everybody's face, and they're making all of the really crazy dogmatic Christians uncomfortable. That's not a recipe for freaking peace on earth, man.
No,
you know,
no, it's
like
not.
wanting acceptance and wanting not to be persecuted. Yes, fucking A, you know, things beyond that is just a bridge too far. And, you know, and we should have stopped while we were ahead, because we got to a point that was great. And then we just jumped the speed bump and went more. And now what's happening, and it's very purposeful. It is being done by the elites. It is being done by the money people. And they are attempting to divide our society. You think they give a shit about freaking Disney making a profit? You know how much money they are making off of drugs they're selling to people with diabetes right now and cancer treatments? And Vanguard and BlackRock own stock in all of those other companies. You want to have 9 to 10 or 20 companies that are making you billions of dollars every year. You can lose hundreds of millions or $1 billion here or there at Disney or whatever else. It's no big deal. So, you know, all of this stuff about the men versus women, and all, it's all bullshit. It's all been polarized, you know, to take us apart. And, you know, there are some people who are playing into their hands. There's some people who are being paid to play into their hands. And there's some people who are playing into their hands because they want to play with the people who are a part of this. They want to get those jobs. They want to be in that system. But real people don't fucking feel this way. No, they don't think this way at all. And I mean, I was a little nervous about my silly book. And every single time I send it to a girl, it's a little bit of a test for me, because I'm like, check it out. It's innocent and it's cool. And like, I really believe that there's nothing uncool about it, nothing uncouth about what's going on. You know, we're really trying to be cool to everybody. Essentially, we gave modern feminism what they want. And we gave modern anti-feminism what they want. You know, the men went off into the wilderness, and now they're out of society because they don't need to provide a city for the women if the women aren't going to appreciate it, you know, which is essentially what your anti-feminists say. They're like, the only reason we even have a society is because you want one, ladies, you know, and that is kind of true. You know, there's definitely a little bit of the simpler pleasures that tend to go with menfolk, and there's a little bit more of intricate and creative pleasures that go with women. And that's the wonderful thing about women. You know, you get a great woman into your home, and all of a sudden, really, you know, I had a girl who I'd gone out with. I couldn't believe it. She replaced all my furniture with shit I loved so much better. You know, things I liked.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me?
So it really is, you know, there's exceptions to every rule. But when it comes to comic books, and when it comes to archetypes, and it comes to storytelling, you're talking about shapes and numbers. This is a 6. It divides into these other numbers this many times. This is a man. This is a fat man. This is a skinny man. This is a muscular man. This is a normal man. You know, there's a neutral range of a drawn picture, and then there are the exaggerations. And the exaggerations are just there to feed us archetypes so we can feel and react in whatever way makes sense for us to feel and react. And we've gotten into this point where comic books are less effective than they've ever been, because that simple communication through pictogram, big boobs, sexy lady, little boobs, not yet sexy lady, young girl, you know, like there's simple things, that markers that denote the thing. And then everybody else has about the same size boobs. You know, there's a neutral, and then there's the people who are meant to stick out. And it's very easy to make a female stick out in a comic if you just give her the big boobs. Okay, she's the big boobs. No, now we acknowledge she's the sexy one. Does that mean that it's not possible for a super skinny, super sexy girl to exist in reality in the real world? No, not at all. But in a comic book, that might be a little bit harder to portray as accurately as you might be able to do it, juxtaposing your skinniness with whatever outfit you put on and all these different things. It's not as easy to communicate a tiny picture in a panel what it means when you start subverting all the expectations.
Right.
Subversion of expectation is fine. I love subversion of expectation. I'm all about it, man. I am non-binary. I am not a typical dude. I end up as a straight man at the end of the day, but really I'm looking for very certain things in my women. And because I look for certain things in my women, I understand who we should be looking for to put into office in politics, the feminine women who aren't necessarily the women that I look for, because you should be looking for men like me to put into politics. The masculine nature of the women and the men that are there is selfish and overbearing and all of the different things that people critique masculinity, toxic masculinity. Yes, it is present in politics, but it's not about the dicks. Exactly. Nancy Pelosi is a masculine woman. She is not a feminine woman. Hillary Clinton is not representing femininity.
No.
That is not what we're getting from those people. There are people like that. Bernie Sanders is a bit of a feminine guy. He's not so, it's so crazy, the masculinity that's coming out of Joe Biden and all these fucking speeches that he's doing. Trump says some stupid thing about beating him in golf. And instead of saying the presidency isn't about fucking athleticism, asshole, he says, I'll beat you on the golf court anytime. Oh my God.
I thought that was hilarious. I said, man, nothing says average American like talking about your golf game.
Yeah, talking shit about your golf game. But dude, I hate golf. I literally was watching a golf game on the way here, and people will get upset with me because, especially low class blue collar type people who like golf. And I go, you guys, they tricked you. This is the sport of the elite that they don't want us playing. Do you know how hard it was to keep up those fucking golf courses before lawnmowers were invented? Do you know how many freaking slaves were freaking keeping that shit well kept? Do you know how much water is being wasted and not having to keep from using the water like everybody else does in California? The golf courses are exempt. They can use as much water as they fucking want. It's crazy. It's such a status symbol thing. I'm the son of a rock star. You asked me about this. Is it cool? We talked about the little bit of elephant.
Right.
No big deal. Look, I don't love necessarily everything revolving around my fucking dad, because things do tend to happen like that in realms where he doesn't deserve to be. It's like he doesn't have anything to do with comics, or any of these things right now. So it doesn't really make sense to be talking about him at any level.
Right.
But there is a reasonable thing that has made me who I am because of him and because my association with him, and recognizing superficiality, superficial culture, a bunch of sort of free passes that we give to certain type of people. I have a lot of advantage that people give me that is more like social advantage than any sort of physical, practical advantage. And if I wasn't aware of the social advantage I was given, I could not use it for good. Right. I have a social advantage that I can use to put a racist in his place in an instance. And I have the power of society behind me. My family has been validated. My opinion means more than yours if you are giving me this unreasonable power. In reality, my opinion doesn't mean more than yours. I'm just you, and you're just me. We're all equally, individually coming at all these things. But people want to give a little bit of power to these positions, and they want to give this power. They want to have a relationship with me because it puts them 6 degrees separation from a celebrity. And I know him. I know D. Snyder. So they don't want to fuck up their relationships with me. So I can call people out on shit and people will take it. And I mean, a lot of it's my nature as well, because I give as good as I get.
And
No,
I
hear
do
that.
not call people out on anything unless
I hear-
they are actively out in the world, not doing as good as they should towards the rest of the people around them. And that's honestly all I give a shit about. You know, if you're going out into the world, making it a worse place every day by the type of shit that you say to people and the type of energy that you bring around, yeah, I might have something to say to you when you get to me, because I realize that most of these other people don't feel like they're in any sort of position to say, yo, asshole, stop it. You know, stop being a jerk to everybody. And
No,
I know that I can do that, and that I have been
stepmom-
given that stupid power. So I try to use it.
Oh, I did.
Do it.
My stepmom was a doctor to celebrities, and so I you know, I've grown up on the outskirts of celebrity culture and stuff like that, and you know, I used to hang out with their kids while their parent was getting a physical. They'd show up and they got their kids for the day or something like that, and they're like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna go pop in over the doctor's house and go get a physical and stuff like that. And my friends, man, they just would annoy the hell out of me. They would just be like, oh, jizz, you know, and I'm just like, dude, like,
well, it's like
just
Ethan Van
humans,
Sciver. I went to this New Jersey Comic Con. Ethan saw me. Ethan's known me for a long time. I've been in comics for fucking 25, 30 years now. It's ridiculous.
That's
I'm 41,
awesome.
and I started showing up at conventions like 14, 15. So, I mean, like, you know, I've been in the scene, showing up and aggravating the people who I love, you know, forever. And, you know, and Ethan was trying to gave me an opportunity to work with him a long time ago. So he knows who I am. But when Ethan sees me, it triggers his ego because he thinks, D. Snyder's son, I'm not a rock star, bigger than comic book person. And he always tries to like embarrass me. Like the first thing that he does whenever he sees me is he'll try to make me feel uncomfortable. And the first thing he did at the convention was he went, hey, everybody, D. Snyder's son's here. And then I have two options. I can either be like, oh, that made me so uncomfortable. And like, or I go, that's right. Here I am. Son, line up.
Right.
Actually, you know, we got some signings happening, you know, and that was what I did. And then when I do that, people like Ethan, they have to sit back in the, oh yeah, I'm not part of the rock star thing or whatever.
Right.
But it's all bullshit, you know, and Ethan shouldn't feel that way. And the fact that Ethan feels that way on whatever level is actually the thing that is causing Ethan to be in the position that he's in with the whole fucking community and feeling attacked by them. And, you know, because he's not a racist. He's not a fucking bad guy on any level. I've worked in the industry for years. All of the freaking people who are these super liberals who are calling him racist, they fucking know that he's not a racist. When they started freaking calling him out and saying all this shit, I was mortified for him, and I could not believe it. I was just like, these people know him. They personally know him. Is there no nuance and loyalty to having experience with somebody and have never having that experience? But all of a sudden they move the goalpost over to sort of casual, subtle racism, use the thing that can sometimes be said by people who are racist because it's dealing with a lack of something that you didn't notice that could be considered racist. Dude, you're making it racist. You're putting the racism in there. And then you're injecting racism onto all these other people. And you're ostracizing them and pushing them away. I mean, this is the shit that causes people to become hateful people who want to attack everybody and all this stuff. So, I mean, on so many levels, I just forgive. I forgive Ethan for everything bad that he says. I forgive Shane for anything that he says or gets up, because I know I went on Shane's podcast. I made him cry. He was drinking, and I had to talk about it realistically because it was one of the first times I'd ever gone on one of these Comicsgate podcasts. And I was like, dude, you know, I'm not a fucking joiner. I don't believe in any of this shit, but I will defend you guys. Like, I totally get the majority of you guys are just fucking fans, and like you're pissed off, and I get it. But like this whole thing, the moment you put a little barrier on it, whatever, it makes it that easy to fucking shortchange you, put you into a box, and then ship you off. And the best like help I am to anybody is being unboxable. Nobody can ever stop and think, you're a sexist. I'm a sexist, huh? Well, let's go back through my history, shall we? I'm a racist, huh? Well, let's take a little look at who I am. You know, it's just the most ridiculous thing. And there are people out there who feel like they can be challenged in these ways and they haven't been able to put themselves out there enough in enough ways, shapes, or forms. You know, for me, I'm a 41-year-old guy. I've worked in dozens of industries professionally. I've worked with tens of thousands of people at this point. And I know that if you ask 9,000 of those people, they're going to say, I'm fucking incredible. And maybe 1,000 of them will have some version of, oh, Jesse was a little standoffish or a bad experience that they had with me or whatever, because I'm a fucking human being. And those people weren't awesome. So, you know, and like, so there's always somebody who's going to have something to say about whatever, but either you can stand by your freaking track record or you don't. I spent my whole fucking career writing kids comics and fucking horror and kids shit is what I've gone back and forth and doing. And if you go read my Toy Story comics or my Muppet comics, there's not a bit of sex, a bit of subversion, a bit of anything. It was the best Toy Story I could make. It's the best Muppets I could make, considering the licensing problems and the different things that you get up to when you get into these, you know, these writing gigs, which are never as awesome as you kind of imagine they might be.
So yeah, no, and that leads me to, like, you know, this is the part where I actually geek out a little bit. I'm like, oh, so you worked on Muppets. Did you ever meet Guy Gilchrist?
Guy Gilchrist?
Yeah, I believe that's his name.
Who's Guy Gilchrist?
One of the he's the guy who designed the Muppet Babies. He drew Muppets.
Oh, he designed the Muppet Babies?
Yeah, he worked
with well, the Muppet
Studios
Babies,
the
generation of the Muppet Babies show is a lot different than
right.
The you know, the generation of most of their shows, because it's an animation and they don't generally do a lot of animation. So I actually I mean, I probably came across his name years ago, but I'm not
yeah, he's just an old sweetheart. If you ever get a chance to meet the guy, I mean,
I bet he's great if he worked on it and he loves the Muppets. I love the Muppets. Jim Henson's my favorite.
Yeah,
he's my idol.
Cool. He goes back to the early days with Jim.
Oh yeah, well, and unfortunately, right now it's like, you know, the Disney, like they have a licensing person, and I'll call them out because it's just ridiculous. If you've ever seen Kermit's Swamp Years, which is the single worst Muppet film ever made, it's awful. And the guy who wrote that, he was the Muppets liaison for their scripts. And he wrote the Muppets like they were Sesame Street. He would basically stop me, prevent me from doing anything that might be construed as mean, even if it was functional to the story. There was a moment where the Electric Mayhem, because we did Snow White and the Electric Mayhem, and Scooter's their manager, but he sucks. So they fire him and they hire Pepe the King Prawn, because Pepe's like, okay, you're 7 dwarfs, we'll be good, you know. So he like got them going like on the right path, and they throw Scooter out the front door, and there was a bunch of jokes, you know, about Scooter being a terrible manager, and he was a terrible manager, and he changed all of the dialogue. So now Scooter gets fired, and he goes, all right, well, I'm gonna go up north and start a variety show, or like some bullshit like that. There was a legitimate funny joke. It was, he's getting fired. He was getting fired for good reason. He wasn't doing a good job. We had set up that he wasn't doing a good job. He was playing a character. But no, Scooter can't be insulted in this way because he thinks it's Sesame Street. He doesn't realize it's the Muppets, and that the Muppets was made for adults, but was able to be enjoyed by children as well. That's how you write the Muppets. You write it to adults, and then you just make sure that it's not too bad. And yelling at Scooter is not too bad for a kid to see. But that's the person in the license. The person inside had a joke every panel. And in the backgrounds of panels, because that's funny. Meanwhile, I'm a father of 4, the biggest Muppet fan of all time, and an avid comic reader. When I was given this assignment, which I originally pitched as Man, which was better and had a better about sold the book to people better. And they didn't want to do that. They boomed the uniforms. I handed in the book. I gave them something that could do with their children. And the parents would enjoy it, and the children would enjoy it. It was paced for bedtime. It was paced so that you could get through an issue with your kids and they wouldn't be trying to grab the pages and turn them for you, which is what happens when an impatient child is being read a comic that is just too wordy for them and too much. If I was a good person to hire for the job in the first place, I delivered goods. I delivered exactly what they needed. And then I couldn't do it. We brought in a friend of ours, Patrick Stork. Patrick Stork added a joke to every panel, and a joke in every panel in that book. And it is so weighed down, bogged down, all these useless
jokes. It's still a pretty good miniseries. I'm a premise guy. I need a really good premise to get me in there. If I get the premise and going on, I know it's good. Man, it was a good idea. So I knew it would stand up to scrutiny, even with all these shitty jokes. But dude, the thing that I wrote, if the fans actually got in their hands, they would literally be kissing my feet. Because I wanted to kiss my own feet. Because I hadn't read that from the Muppets. I hadn't seen that for 15 years, and I've been waiting for somebody to do justice to my favorite group of characters that I believe inspire artists to great work. Because nobody can be as bad as nobody's as bad at comedy as Fozzie. You want to be this motherfucker, keep trying it out. The fact that you are willing to not worry, don't worry, you'll be better at cooking than the Swedish Chef. Don't worry, you'll finish your performances if you're a band, unlike the Electric Mayhem. Don't worry, you won't burn down the theater at Gonzo. Give it a try. Every single Muppet character has a passion for something they love to do, they believe in, and they suck at. And they keep going up. There's an old guy crowd who don't get it, who keep making fun of them for trying to do these things and not quite having the talent. And Piggy's she's the next level of that. Not only is she untalented, she's a pig. She's pig-headed. She's selfish. She's self-centered. It's not about, she's fat and self-acceptance. No, she's a bad person. She's fat because she doesn't care about taking care of herself. She thinks she's perfect the way she is. She's an egomaniac. And what F choice did they make to try to advance the Muppets with the Muppet TV series recently? They made her the star of her own late-night talk show, and everybody else subordinate to her within it. They rewarded the worst person on the show.
No, the girl bossed the hell out of her. They really did.
Yes. And they ultimately just killed the magic of the Muppets. That had people succeeding because that's what happens in the real world. The Muppets are about no matter how bad you are, don't give up. And that's the most important fucking message for every single person on planet Earth. If you're a doctor or you're a fucking farmer, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're trying to be a good dad or a good mom and overcome some shit. If these guys didn't give up, I won't either. The one commonality amongst every person on planet Earth who has ever succeeded at anything is they never gave up. That's it. That's the one thing they share. Everything else about them can be completely freaking different, but you don't give up. And really, for me, my father inspired me as a musician. Muppet inspired me as a creative writer. We're not going to take it. I'm me. I want to rock. You can't stop rock and roll. It's all about you can do what you set out to do, what you want to do. Who are you to look down at? Well, I believe I'm onto your thinking and how you deceive are the words from I'm me. Everybody is a unique individual. We all have something to offer. It doesn't mean that we all deserve a trophy on the fucking dodgeball court. There is somebody who's better at dodgeball, but that doesn't mean you're not special and that you don't have something special about you, that there's something that you have to offer that nobody else does. Absolutely there is. And you can't stop looking for it. And I really loved when we started to talk about everybody was special and everybody was unique. And then very quickly, all of a sudden, that conversation became, is everybody special? Everybody's getting their little trophies. And I'm like, nah, you guys are doing it the wrong way. The idea that we are all special and unique, abso-fucking-lutely. The idea that we're all special at fashion? No. That we're all special at acting? We're all special at singing? We're not all special at all those things. We're special.
I'm a dad too, and I tell my kids that, when you're deciding what you want to do for a living, find something that you enjoy doing, Venn diagram that with what pays money, and Venn diagram that with won't embarrass me in public.
You know what? That's funny, because I've actually crossed the threshold of the embarrassing myself in public all the time thing. and that is like the last vestige. I got really annoyed because I had a bass player who was in the band, And I was starting to get this feeling that like he was like, oh, look at Jesse, the egomaniac, coming out to be the lead in all of our music videos and making everybody laugh. And I basically turned to him one day and I went, motherfucker, I keep inviting you guys to do this with me. I keep asking you to do this with me because I have to act like a fool. I am putting myself in a position to be made fun of, to be the butt of the joke. It is supreme power and strength that I am coming here going, I am willing to look silly and foolish and whatever in the name of propagating our band, helping us get out here. I think I can make some people laugh. I think I'm willing to take the piss a little bit in this way or that way. No big deal. It's cool. Let's have a good time. And then somebody to be sitting there, oh, look at you. I'm literally trying to make you laugh. It's like, people are just crazy sometimes.
It's almost like you're an entertainer. Sorry.
I mean, that's kind of the goal, man.
Hey, Jesse, real quick. Hey, man, you might want to check your connection because I thought it was mine.
I thought it was mine.
But yeah, you're RoboCop.
Check.
You're getting all RoboCop, man.
Oh yeah, is that any better?
No.
I might have to. Is that? Wait, let me tell me if it gets any better. Hold on.
I mean, it's been getting a little better, but for a good chunk, man, you're like getting all, bippity boppity boop and all that.
I will try to be careful with this microphone here because I minor damage to it. Is it sounding okay right now?
Yes. Now it's sounding really good.
Okay.
It's sounding good, but I think you may be having an issue with your internet.
It's like your compression
bandwidth.
Yeah. Oh, that might be the situation. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever used this Wi-Fi in this house. I'm visiting my girl right now, and I don't know how far away or close I am to the Wi-Fi. It's my first time. My first time working here. I've been traveling today. I just got to California this morning. My babe and my babies and my girl are going out to have some fun.
Nice.
While I do this, and in an hour I've got another show that I'm going on, and I'm just like taking every opportunity that I can. This is not some flash in the pan thing. It was so funny. When I was in the industry, there were so many superficial comic book people that were showing up because they wanted to use comics either through association or as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And people thought that that's what I was there for. And boy, did I get tired of fucking explaining to them that if I wanted to go into fucking Hollywood, I would just be there working in freaking Hollywood.
Yeah,
it's not a difficulty for me.
The nepotism ticket punched.
Nobody's sitting there going, you can't come here. I chose comics because I love comics. And it's the single greatest art form on earth.
Thank you.
And the fact that the modern renaissance that has been going on my entire lifetime has not been acknowledged to this day. Yeah. And now I'm in better position than ever to take someone like Eric Treadaway and Four Horsemen Studios and fucking lift them up until people recognize that this is the second coming of Da Vinci on planet Earth. Have you seen the sculptures this man is making? Are you seeing the art coming out of some of these people, the Brian Bolans and the Art Adams and the Ethan Van Skyvers? There's so many of them. I mean, people like Jason Pearson freaking is gone now because he was very upset that what he did was not being appreciated in the way it deserved to be. He was a craftsman at the highest level. And most of these a lot of these craftsmen, some of them are cool, like a Graham Nolan, and they're humble as hell, and they're really grateful that people like us appreciate them on the level they deserve. And then there's other people in the business who just have massive chips on their shoulder because they've never felt like they get the mainstream attention. I've gotten that vibe from Chris Claremont when I've hosted panels with him. There's a bunch of things that he just had to say to me, which are all these things that are said by people who feel like they're coming from a shitty position, who are insecure. And most of the people in the comic book world, we're insecure. And honestly, I'm here to fucking change that.
We're all nerds.
Yes, we are all. You know what that means? That we're all nerds. It means that we're empathetic. It means that we're smart. It means that we appreciate things. It means that we're willing to fucking acknowledge somebody when they're great, and we don't have a fucking big ego. We can't put our fucking ego aside to be like, that person is incredible. That's great. help them,
Yeah.
support them. That's what a fucking geek does. A geek is willing to worship a little bit. You know, and it doesn't have to be 100% all the time. You know, you don't give up yourself to freaking acknowledging somebody doing something wonderful and passing on compliments. It's just about not having such an ego that you feel like you're in a pissing contest with everybody at work, you know, and well, if I say something nice about his work, then he might get the promotion that I'm not going to get. You know, I don't believe in that shit. If I'm going to get the promotion, I'm going to get the promotion because I'm so fucking good at what I do.
Well,
Not
damn,
because
Skippy.
the people around me were shittier. Like, I don't want to win because well, everybody was so bad that you won.
Yeah, no, and it's just poor sportsmanship on their end.
And there's been a lot of that going around in the indie
dude.
comic scene. A lot of poor sportsmanship. You
I
know,
mean,
I really
that's
don't like.
pissing me off.
It's really pissing me off. You know, it's like I really don't like saying anything negative about Eric July because I am nothing but happy for him, and I think that there's nothing but good things that come out of that situation. But there is a reality that, you know, that people keep getting pointed to, and it is something important that we need to correct as time goes on. We need the people who have been doing this the longest. We need the people who have demonstrated their ability to do it in the mainstream at these other companies. They exist. I'm not the only one who's like, fuck this DEI bullshit. Fuck all their stupid language and all the shit they want to talk about. I don't care. They are idiots and they are wrong. And there are more. And most of them are putting out Kickstarter campaigns and they're not making a lot of money. They're not getting any traction on their social media. They're not able to get people to see it. And they feel a little famous. They feel as though they deserve a little bit of attention. So they're a little kind of ashamed to go boots on the ground like I'm doing right now, go to every single station, talk to every person because like, well, I've worked for these people and I should be able to make a little bit. And it's true. They should. Unfortunately, they're in an equal playing field with people who decided to do this yesterday. And that is the real weird place we're in with this indie marketplace. And if we really want it to change, we need to support the people who are great at this. And there could be lots of independent companies coming up and doing great things. It'll be great the more there are. You know, the idea that like because you're succeeding, there's not enough space for another person to succeed is fucking bullshit. There's always space for success.
No, it's like the old story of the Nike salesman. The one went to Calcutta, the other one went to Mumbai, and the guy calls back from Calcutta and goes, "Hey, look, nobody here wears shoes. There's no market." The guy from Mumbai calls back and he says, "Hey, nobody here wears shoes. There's nothing but market."
Yes.
And I see nothing but market. Nobody has any good has much. I can't say any.
That is a great story, Tank.
It's a real story.
You know what? That story demonstrates to me why I clicked with you. Because all I do is go around collecting those sorts of things that can squish down the concept of what's actually happening from what we think is happening.
Yeah.
Something as simple as, hey, listen, I know that you think that feminism
you're roboting again, good sir.
Helping. Am I roboting again?
Yeah, I see. This is another reason why we get along is that when you get excited, it's just like me. I start speaking in cyberpunk.
And my energy starts, electrical forces start going, oh shit.
Right. Start hacking the planet subconsciously.
Yeah. What was I talking about?
About the situation, about how, you know, we were talking about you know, how it's like there's nothing but market out there. I mean, you think about
analogy.
Right. You're looking at you look at a market that had 3 million active consumers just 20 years ago. That is down to around 150,000 people actually buy and read comics now. It's really tiny. We got to get that market back.
Okay, so it's crazier than that, and I'm sure you heard me talk about this because I talk about this a lot. Because really, for people like me and you know, if you really care about comics, you really need to understand what you're looking at, so that you can properly support it. And the big thing is, and I might be underestimating, but I'm underestimating on purpose because it is stark what these numbers are when it comes to how many people are reading, physically reading, picking a book, turning a page and going 22 pages into your book, I believe it's about 20% of the top are read. 20%. That's a very tiny number if you have a historical idea of what your average book sales are. Things will come out, 60,000 for like something that's successful, or 100,000, 200,000 even for something that's like really big and successful here, whatever, and they'll very quickly, it's
robot.
Yeah,
robot.
I'm robot. So prices will I mean, the amount of purchases will half and half. The amount of printing half and half and half until it gets down to a fraction of where they begin. So many what you call a successful monthly book in the 2000s was averaging something, basically trying to keep its head of 30K was like a respectable book that would go on and be well up into the 30s and 40s, and then eventually around 250 they cancel it. As it finally went below 20,000, 15,000, whatever, the cancellation territory, and we have that thing. So among an average of 30,000 readers, what's 20% of 30,000?
Yeah, it's just 1,500 people.
6,000.
Yeah, 6,000. Sorry, I'm all sorts of backwards on
6,000 people.
Yeah,
that's how many people are making the taste by a generation of comic book readers. All of the people who were involved in a particular book being said great things about it, that came from 6,000 people who thought well enough of a book to say, this is awesome. And then the 6,000 people, when the book wasn't that great, they just weren't saying anything. They were reading it, they were showing up, but they weren't saying anything. But if you could get that 6,000 people to tell their friends, a book could maintain, a book could rise even occasionally, and granted, it's crazy how few and far between stories like Invincible or The Walking Dead is, but there are books that have managed to go up, and it's always been through this system. And we know, people who really care about, we know how hard it is to really, we know how those numbers work in the margins and all these different things. The Kickstarter business model is actually amazing in comics because it lets people really draw a line in the sand, make a mistake about an indie book that is only 22 pages.
Yeah.
Usually speaking, Marvel and DC, they have the benefit of I can make T-shirts and I can have 7 different versions of this one cover and all that. So I really get an opportunity to sort of make a lot of things for one thing that I can sell. I can sell all these things. I can do the things, and the audience is recognizing that I'm an impoverished creative person that isn't possibly going to be able to sell this comic to 30,000 people at the $2 that Marvel is.
You're roboting again, my
friend.
friend.
I'm going to be able to do is play a couple games so that we can make it cool for you and make it cool for us. And really what we do here, in Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever, it's a limited edition. I printed 300 copies. I'll never get a game like that. And all the scrupulous business go, and I never will print it like this again. I will always find do something different. Just a red spot in the bottom of the cover. That's the red spot version, but it is different. And there's only 100 of those red spot versions. And now that red spot version is also another thing that you could collect. There's only 200 of those. Right now, every single person in this book, like, you can consider it an investment. I mean, already, we got fucking street cred to fucking kill, man. Everybody is like, man, not only are you fucking burning the whole friggin' system down with this, you can't pro anymore. You completely taken the full ballsy move in independent comic, and it is interesting and it is unique. And I haven't quite read anything like this before, and that has value. It's that simple. Once you've made something like that, and I mean, at this rate, there's only going to be 1,000 copies of this book fucking printed. Why is, Detective Comics number 27 worth so much money? Because there's only about that many copies around. These are the numbers that we're talking about that made the golden age worth money. So the numbers that we're in the modern indie age right now, They're golden age numbers. They are numbers that if you are savvy enough to help me make this a success, you would essentially be making the investment you already put into it that much more lucrative for you, and that much more lucrative across the board with all of the things that you smartly got on board with. And I'm not the only one, whether it's Mike Barron or Chuck Dixon or Ethan Van Sciver. These people are making quality books. They always have made quality books. At a certain point in time, all this political partnership shit, it's going to go away. And there's going to be a certain amount of people who did not buy Ethan Van Sciver's books at the time because that was the moment where everybody was calling him a racist and I was stupid and I was listening to them. And then one day I was like, started to appreciate Ethan's thing again because the freaking tide had turned and things were more reasonable again. And I went, oh man, Ethan, I love his work. What else has he done? And then I started looking for his book that cost me $2,000. Right. And that's what the other guys who actually took the time to get behind us get. And that is the way that we can change this whole industry right now. Tank, dude, like this dude puts his money where his fucking mouth is. And I try to do the same thing. I tell people, like, if this isn't for you and an erotic book, I understand. It's like, not everything is for everybody. Not everything's for me.
Yeah,
but I see books.
I went to Blacklight. I went to your Blacklight page, man, and you've got a bunch of good stuff over there. I mean, if this is not somebody's cup of tea, there's more. And that's something that we do too, because we've got a small company that we're getting put together. We're doing all the legal stuff. We're doing all the paperwork stuff.
Yeah.
And there's 5 of us, and
all the Kickstarter stuff, all the campaign stuff. Yeah. I do all the Photoshop for every campaign we do. All the Photoshop work is me. I have a couple of people who are like friends, and occasionally I'll be like, I want this to look better, in my skill level. But I'm a graphic designer, I do that stuff. And that way of being able to do those things as collaborative efforts with artists and stuff, to be able to offer that to my artists, at this stage of the game, I'm working a lot harder than he is, especially because a lot of the things that I have to do aren't things that I prefer to do. He likes to draw. I like to write. But my part of the thing was this much writing and then this much selling a book and printing a book and making a page. Like, not exactly the things that I want to do, but at the end of the day, what I want to do is make comedy and communicate with the audience and establish a company that can actually do this for real. This business model, this whole way we've been doing it needs to change. And we need people with new ideas.
Yeah, I hear you, man, because we've set up manufacturing in the US and the UK. We're sourcing our stuff from democratic countries as much as we possibly can. We've worked out publishing arrangements with Marcosha Publishing. They've been in the business for over 20 years. Cool. Harry Marcos is a wonderful person.
About some of that stuff because I still have not really been happy with my printers. I kind of keep bouncing around, even though there's a printer or two that I do recommend, but I end up like going to other printers because they're offering some covers that I need or some of the specifics that I like for the campaign, or whatever.
They have the right flavor of yogurt for the special edition cover.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that, has made it really, sorry, the person I love is walking by me and she looks beautiful.
No, you're fine. You know what? Let's take this opportunity really, really quick here to take a quick 5-minute break. Let people stretch your legs, get out this stuff. Lord Sandwich out in the chat.
Lord Sandwich.
Yes, the meaty defender of flavor who will save us from the horrible tofu tyrant. We love Lord Sandwich.
And this is what he'll tell the tofu tyrant.
Fuck you!
That's one of my favorite. That's like one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies.
Oh no, for real.
Why is it a guilty pleasure? That movie's fucking awesome.
You know what? I only call it a guilty pleasure movie because a lot of people feel stupid for love. Not only do I love that, I love their stupid sequels. They're awful. They're it's just so simple. I love giant monster movies. That's my thing. I really like you give me a kaiju and like I will put it on in the background. It can be as awful as possible, and I will look up occasionally. I will chuckle to myself and go, and I'll be happy. So Tremors, a bunch of like gigantic worms, the graboids coming out of the ground to get you. I'm in.
Yeah, no, I love them. And you know what's the thing I love about the Tremors series is that they not for once do they take themselves seriously. They're like, look, we're here to have fun and entertain. Are you not?
No, but they honor their premise.
Yeah,
they're very well written. The movies are very simply well written. They have a really good premise that gets honored, and that's why even the sequels with lesser actors and lesser production and whatever else are still enjoyable because they keep the premise going. They have not broken the thing that they set up that was inherently kind of fun and funny and just wry about the Tremors franchise. Like I love those movies, but I know a lot of people think they're stupid as hell.
Tremors is the reason why I got a crush on Reba McEntire.
hey.
Oh yeah, you saw her with a shotgun, and you were like, "All right, hey now."
Hello.
I was like,
yeah,
That's funny. That's really funny because at first you said you got a crush on Reba McEntire. I'm like, never. That never went there for me. Hey, sweetie, I'm doing a YouTube channel, and I will call you back in just a little bit. Where's Parker? I don't know. You got to call Julie's phone number.
All right, let's take a quick 5-minute break for station identification. Check this out, all you wonderful people out there in TV land. It's a little Full Metal bitch.
mistake. Jack Slater is the last action hero.
Jack, it's Benedict and his Rottweiler! Okay, Ripper, let's bring down the house! Whack! Whack!
Big mistake.
Hang on, Danny! We go up, he comes down. Now you're in the doghouse.
Last Action Hero Police Station. You put it together. Figure sold separately. New from Mattel.
Terminator is back with the Bioflesh Regenerator. In the ultimate confrontation with evil, Bioflesh suffers battle damage.
Endoskeleton in position to undergo Bioflesh regeneration. Initiate regeneration program. Add flesh compound.
Terminator created. Terminator's Bioflesh Regenerator. I'm back.
Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. In a world of fun and fantasy, and ever-changing views, and computer terminology, Commodore's views. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Godzilla battles Space Godzilla, the ultimate enemy. As the Godzilla wars continue, whole cities are toppled by Godzilla. Whipping tails, ripping claws, and flashing eyes leave a path of destruction. But who will triumph? Godzilla, Gigan, and Space Godzilla from Trendmaster.
I've gone radioactive, and I kinda like it.
With the Dr. Dreadful Radioactive Food Lab.
Make a cockroach. Drop him in the nuclear tank.
A color mutation!
Plain brains? No, radioactive monster brains. Yummy. Oh, I almost forgot. The Dr. Dreadful Drink Lab's gone radioactive too. It's a nuclear blast. The new Dr. Dreadful Radioactive Food Lab and Radioactive Drink Lab, each sold separately, batteries not included.
The dreaded beast versus the savage hunter. Aliens versus Predator with awesome new Predators. Clan leader attacks with whipping dreadlocks. And Stalker, glowing in the dark, fires his spear. Suddenly, flipping up his attack spikes the wild boar alien charges. And the ferocious mother alien in her monstrous hive traps Spiketail, then covers him in ooze.
Ooze 'em!
Who will survive? Aliens versus Predator. Queen Hive playset comes with mother alien figure and ooze. Other figures sold separately.
Turtles subterranean sewer hockey.
Master the ninja skill of getting the pizza to go into the sewer.
Awesome!
Comes with 12 Ninja Turtle players. A higher form of turtle power.
The Micro Machine Man here presenting the genuine, original, colossally collectible, most midget miniature episodes of the real things. Micro Machines. Dramatically detailed, stupendously styled, smaller than a nut, this one or this one. And now with a totally terrific town, the new Micro Machine Super City Toolbox playset. Closed, it's a mild mannered toolbox. Open, it's a Micro Machine USA. Cruise your mini Micro Machine vehicles, planes, and boats to the police station, the marina, the mini motorcycle repair shop, the gas station, the construction office, work, the real working drawbridge, highway, passenger ramp, and garage doors. Or take a Micro Machine flying machine in for a landing. Phew, this place has it all. The new Micro Machine Super City Toolbox playset from Galoob. The one and only outrageous original miniatures. Remember, if it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the...
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing, man? Oh, no worries. So everybody, I want you to go check out this out. Check out this this campaign here. Link is right there in the chat. Go click it, share it out. Like, let's get the word out on this, because if you've been paying attention, this is good stuff. And you know, it's all sorts of fun. You know, and while we have a moment here, let me go ahead and pop that out just for a second, and I'm going to share with you guys this this footage I found of the political candidate that you're not a fan of renewing his real ID. You got to check this out. This is just, it's too much.
All right, I'm back.
Can't you just use this recent photo?
All right. There you go.
Woohoo! Who's laughing now? Shut up.
Hey, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Yeah, that was the political candidate that you don't like.
I
doing his
was
real
going
life.
to do the motorcycle. Oh, 2 cars to park. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm working. I'm about to go to Knott's Berry Farm. My kids are going to Knott's Berry Farm. I'm meeting them later, so we're just working on.
Oh,
details.
heck yeah. No, well, I mean, if you got to run, man,
Yeah,
please
man.
don't let us keep you. We're family first around
No,
here.
no,
man.
no.
Dad is
Like
sick.
I got 6, so this is now. But my girl's taking my kids. They're going to have to do these shows. I haven't seen her in 5 months, and but I 5 days left on campaign. This is for all of us. This is for her. This is for my
Right.
wife. This is for my babies, and like it because I've been trying to build a business the past decade. Like this is really for your perspective. Like I'm sure you appreciate. 10 years ago, dealing with all of these fucking mini fiefdoms, they were all the same kind of people who were basically business people who felt small, who were like kind of trying to use comics as like leverage to make themselves feel bigger. And one, what a disservice that does to our industry. 2, it prevents real greatness from ever really happening when that's at the top, because they're not thinking about it in terms of greatness. They're not like, oh yeah, that is possible all the time, every time. They're like,
You really manipulate the market. You got to trick people with very covers.
they've become so focused on all the ways in which they've manipulated the market, because that's easier and can often be more guaranteed success than going after a credible creator, giving them the money that they deserve, giving them a percentage of ownership. None of these companies want to lift up their creative people. And that's the big thing. My best example of this has always been Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns did not respect DC Comics until he worked at Marvel. He wrote an amazing Avengers run, and while he was over there, DC said, not so fast. It's come to our attention that you've been doing amazing work for us for a while, and maybe we haven't acknowledged it. And then did. But that's it. Unless you have an opportunity to pull some teeth out of their mouth and make it all of a sudden where people go, oh shit, Scott Snyder, he really is a commodity. We can make money off of this guy. And then they will. But to get to that point is luck and circumstance and so many fucking things in the industry. And in general, the people that you work with, the editors, the creative people, they're the low man on the totem pole. They don't have any real power. They're not the people who are benefiting when they succeed, which is the part of like, it's like the better comics are, the more a bunch of assholes who don't have anything to do with our industry are rich. Awesome. When meanwhile, we can put that money directly into the artist's pocket. We can put the money directly into the writer's pocket, through independent comics. The things that these endeavors have been done will be done more correctly than have been in the past. I wrote a song called Money Ain't Funny that my band did with the hook that it is. Money ain't funny is this way. It should be 50. Hear him say 60-40, my friend, maybe 90-10. The money always in the end. I wrote that song and recorded that song, and a couple weeks later, the company that had offered me 10% of a comic book that they cut my percentage to 5%.
Right.
I was like, this is getting hysterical. And literally, I just worked for this company, just publishing, they sell all of their books.
Hey man, you're roboting really, really hard.
All right.
And
again?
Luckily, I spent time in the Army, and I was on the microphone a lot on the radio, and I can make sense of it.
Is my internal microphone better?
Actually, yeah.
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 All right. I'm just using my computer's mic instead of my.
Okay. Okay. So that must be, it might be that your computer's disagreeing with your mic.
Yeah. Usually speaking, this one would be the lever mic, but if that's having a lot.
No, never mind. You're roboing again.
Oh my goodness. It's unfortunate. Technology.
It just might be your connection, dude.
Yeah, I think it's just my connection. If I have to figure out
Wi-Fi stuff is my girl just left. I'm gonna have to text her. Where is the Wi-Fi box? All
Right.
Being heard now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I
and then I jinx it. I jinx it. You know what? I can't hear shit. Let's see if that works.
Now here. Hello.
All right. So, yeah, it's come and go, man. It's and I feel bad.
You know what?
Yeah, me too.
I'll try to move around the house and go. This might be fine. Actually,
let's try that.
I'm gonna take a guess.
That's right. We can give you a minute. We'll run another classic series of toy commercials real quick.
You can play the trailer for fucking our future.
Oh yeah. Duh.
Yeah. Play the trailer.
I'm not that stupid.
I'm going into the office where apparently the Wi-Fi is. Maybe it'll be better.
Word. Let's get the trailer on this thing, man. This thing's great.
Nobody doesn't like big titties. Say it again. Men and women alike love big titties. Boys, girls, and babies love big titties. Just admit that I'm right. You love big titties.
Who doesn't?
You love big titties. Love big titties. I love big titties. I love big titties. I love big titties.
We want you. For our future. Sign up for notifications now on Kickstarter.
You love big titties. Love big titties.
Only from Blacklight District Studios.
I fucking love it.
Yeah! I've seen that trailer a couple of times already, and when the tits pop, it still gets me. I'm just like, oh Jesus! I don't
Dude, that is
don't believe in playing fair. You know, if I'm gonna do the erotic thing, I was like, I'm going all the way with this shit.
That's right.
Dude,
Don't half-ass shit.
That was the most Mike Judge shit ever.
For real, man.
I fucking love it.
It's like some old school like Newgrounds type of stuff like you would find back in the day.
Oh, you know what? It's even funnier because there's a bridge, right? So like it's a full song. I didn't write the verses, but I wrote the bridge, and the bridge comes in at the end and it goes, "Let's hear it, bip 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 for small titties." Bip, 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 wonderful, bip, bip, in their own way. Did. 3 cheers, hip, hip, hooray for small titties. Bip, bip, bip. Don't let our love of big titties ruin your day.
That's fucking awesome.
It's fucking beautiful, man.
It's totally fucking awesome.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it's really funny too because this book is completely innocent. You know, I never wanted to do a nude book. I didn't want to do a erotic book. But like for me, sex doesn't enter into story for the most part. You know, like sex can have a impact on story, but it's not story. You know, story is ultimately never just about sex. So, you know, and the way nudity tends to shortchange the characters in a narrative, I hate it. I hate the nudity. So for me, it became, how do I come up with a concept where the nudity is so inherent in the concept of the book that it'll make sense for nudity to be on the cover? And that's, you know, what we did. And then it got to the next level where I didn't even have real nudity. It's a power armor. I got a power armor and there's a little girl piloting it. My main character isn't even nude. And you know,
I love it.
There's all these crazy things that you can start to do because it's a power armor designed to accentuate sex and sexiness and all these things so that it might possibly be able to attract one of these 3-legged men. And these in the book, they haven't seen a woman in 1,000 years. They have no interest. You know, there's just nothing there. So what came to be is this Wile E. Coyote cartoon between the Roadrunner being, you know, the boys who are just me, I don't want your sex. and the women who are like, but I really need those sperms. And they keep showing up, and we kind of keep getting the same thing going. But within that too, there's a lot of deeper and fun story, and just so much great color commentary on the sexes and men and women, and none of it comes from like any sort of judgmental or like annoying place of like me trying to get one over anybody, because I'm on everybody's side. I love everybody.
Right.
But it is real stuff, real comments, real truth, real jokes.
Well,
that somebody would be like, oh, I get that. Yeah, that's true.
It's like Jack Nicholson once said.
Why can't we all just get along?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
but
so
let me tell you, because I really want to like get this off my chest, like for you, Tank. Like I started this process about 8 years ago.
Right.
At the time, I was the voice of Kia Motors, and buying a Kia is one smart move. I was the voice of Kia Motors for 4.5 years, so I was making decent money. I've got a family of 4. California is fucking expensive,
dude. No, for real.
Yeah, and I was building my business, and my first moves were 3-prong. I was doing a really cool independent series for myself. To kind of demonstrate what I could do. Mark Polton had brought me the original idea for what became King of Kings. He wanted to do a behind the music on this Norse band. And then I said, can Jesus be the bad guy? And he said, sure. And I went, all right, I'll do it. And then from there we turned it into this competition, King of Kings, and everybody. It's a title that Jesus has won every century for 13 centuries. And now the Norse religion is coming back to try to get revenge on Catholicism for the Northern Crusades. So we wrote that whole book, and then I started producing it. And I color designed every character after designing every character, spending time. There's a lot of different variations of what Lucifer looked like before we settled on the midget Danzig demon.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Like Glenn Danzig. And every single one of them is based loosely on some
mother.
Yeah, he has a parody song called Father that I wrote. Where it's like, Father, why you turn your back on me? Father, why you don't like what you see? It keeps going. Really pretty good. But very much in line with Mother. It's spiritually similar, but it's all about God disapproving of him.
Oh, nice marmot.
Remember, common misconceptions of the Bible. It was, Father, why have you forsaken me? Not,
bitch, thought you had my back.
Yeah. Father, why have you forsaken me? So, and it's very inside baseball too, King of Kings, even though it's funny, but we're intelligent. We read about the religions that we didn't know about beforehand, and we dug more deeply into any concept that we were thinking about exploring before we utilized it, because what is that? What does that really mean? Why are they talking about the 7 sins or whatever it might be? So and there are references to so many religions. There's 16 religions represented. I'm so proud of that book. But that was the beginning. That was me. And I was going to show a fucking heavy metal level thing that demonstrated my fucking intellect, what I was capable of delivering. And it was something that was funny, and comedy especially is like, I can sing even freaking better when I'm able to be funny. So I was like, okay, this is a great project for me. And then I had 2 other projects. One was because simultaneously my music career, they kept telling me that I was all over the place. That I made too many styles and too many things, and they wanted me to focus. So I came up with this project based on my own home studio, Blacklight District Studios. Me surrounded by posters, all lit up by black lights. This is my happy place. So that's the studio. The studio is the place where you're comfortable and you're safe and you make your shit. And I said, and this was before we were Blacklight District Studios. We named the company after this book. So we did this music comic book project, which was originally just supposed to be inspired by geek culture, comic book sort of archetypes and mythology. And then after I made it, the last song that we made was this song called Symptoms. And I had this vision of greed
as a metaphor for the zombie apocalypse, for the virus of zombieism being passed around through money, through the Washington. Oh no, he's a zombie. That means he's taking the money. He's a zombie. He's taking the money. And I saw this whole comic, which originally I wanted to get Tony Moore to do because I knew Tony. And he was busy and expensive. And I didn't want to wait for him. And I didn't want to pay what he had to pay. So I ended up getting my buddy David Witt, who just has a similar kind of style. And and he did the opening bit. But we did the whole book. We got Phil Hester with old school colors by Eric Larson and old school letters by Chris Eliopoulos. We got J.K. Woodward did full painted pages. We got Jason Pearson doing a story about depression shortly before he's no longer with us because of fucking depression. Which I knew he and I were suffering, dealing with similar sort of things. And I reached out to him very specifically about this song that was about my depression, and he fucking killed it. And Chris Burnham did our cover with colors by Andrew Dollhouse. This thing was basically produced. The first issue of King of Kings was basically produced. The second and the third issue was drawn. We were about to start the fourth issue. We were about to start coloring the second issue. We had started to letter the second issue of King of Kings. But then I had one more thing, all being produced at once.
Right.
Mythic Legions. The Mythic Legions toy line, Four Horsemen Studios. I'm a huge toy guy. I love toys. I have been studying those motherfuckers and every toy that they've ever freaking sculpted my entire life. I love that company. And as soon as I had an opportunity, I befriended them and I went to them and I said, what can I do to help you guys expand what you are doing? I want to be involved. I want to help you to blow this line up the same way Masters of the Universe was blown up. You guys need stories to tell about all these characters. Put me in charge. I'll do it right. And I did do it right. But I lost thousands and thousands of dollars working on that project because it was the first Mythic Legions thing. The amount of people who were actually backing them was a very small amount. The amount of people who actually went in for the comic was an even smaller amount. And I wasn't going to shortchange the book. So I paid what I would have to pay, $15,000 or whatever to do a great freaking book where everybody's getting paid right. And I didn't make back that. I didn't get paid that. And I had to send all of the books out individually because we ended up being a little late and we had to send our books separate from their things being sent. So I ended up having to cut a couple corners on a couple extra shit, which really pissed me off because the book is phenomenal. But there's a couple things that I would have liked to just put a little bit more into. And it's beautiful and it's well done. And if you don't know exactly what I promised or what I said beforehand, you'll think this is great. If you know what I promised, you'll be like, well, he didn't quite come through with this or that. And a lot of it was just I couldn't afford to. I was strapped at this point in time. I had these 3 projects ready. And I was talking to Chuck Dixon. I was talking to Chuck. I had dinner with Chuck. I bought dinner for Chuck with Aaron Sparrow, who was my editor at Boom Studios. Aaron's one of my best friends. Aaron has been the first person I want to take off the street and freaking get him working every fucking day on comics. I've watched him make thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and probably millions all told for multiple people over and over again, and him never have anything to show for it. And he's just a brilliant creative person, great collaborator, and he's the person that I'll be taking out of this scenario.
That's beautiful.
But we met with Chuck, and I was already talking to Scott McDaniel because he was one of the artists who I was considering to put with Chuck. I wanted to put him with somebody that they associated with him. But the meeting with Chuck was, what would you like to do? What would you like to do the most? What do you feel like you have years worth of story in you to tell? What is it that you think will work for the market? You think that will work for your audience that would be worth it for us to pitch? I'd like to help you do something that mattered to you. I believe in you as a creative person. I would read anything that you said. You said you felt passionate about that you were writing, and I think other people will too. So I did this 8 years before fucking Eric July did it, and everybody else got the same ideas that I've gotten, and they're going back and hiring people. They still haven't hired a lot of the people that I'd like to see hired, like Alan Grant and other friggin' people who are killers, whose names, were written so many Batman things and Judge Dredd and whatever else, and people know those people's names, and if it shows up on a cover, they will give that book a chance. So there's a lot more than just Chuck Dixon, even though he's definitely fucking number one with a bullet. a clear example of like, I can't even believe how the industry dropped the ball so badly.
No, for real, man.
Who was having so much success with the audience.
Well,
I mean,
what can you say? They're fucking retards.
they are.
Hey, that's our word.
Yeah, it's crazy. And from this place of watching the retarded behavior of all of these big companies and going, well, I understand. They think we're a bunch of autistic nerds. And like, they just like, oh man, they're just giving some things to be obsessed over kind of thing. They are severely
They don't get it.
underestimating our intelligence is the problem. And they're not realizing we are smarter than them.
Well,
and the reason why they don't get what we get is because they are superficial and they think superficially. And a superficial mind is a dumber, lower vibrating mind than people who are empathetic and looking more deeply into things. You know, the reason why Star Wars becomes the thing that it becomes is because it's so evocative of so many ideas, and it sets people up to just imagine stories for a very, very long time, you know? And that is the reality, you know, the lost art of evoking things. People loved Heavy Metal Magazine because each story would sort of evoke a whole universe of possibilities that might be inherent in the concepts that you saw in this 6-page story done by an artist who was really evocative to begin with, you know? So I think that it's all there to be done right, but it's not being done right by the industry. And I set out to do it with my own money, and then I got fired, from my big 6-figure job. All of a sudden, I didn't have that huge amount of money coming in, but I couldn't just stop. I couldn't say, hey, artist who I told you I would pay you for these 22 pages. You know, at a certain point, I had to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do the 4th issue.
Time to bust out the hustle.
Yes, but I felt an obligation to hire that, to pay David Witt all the way until we finished issue 3. That was a gift he had planned on. I had budgeted that and all these things. So I had to go through with all these things. And I put out Blacklight District Studios through Image Comics, and we broke even. But I didn't break even on the music side of things. And we put out the Mythic Legions thing, and I lost like $10,000. And we went to fundraise on Indiegogo, and they shadow banned us. And I didn't find out that I was shadow banned for 3 years. So I failed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I literally just was like, I guess people don't like the book. I guess I didn't do as good a job as I thought. Maybe I'm wrong about all this. And then when the news came out years later about how Indiegogo had been shadow banning people for years, unbeknownst to them, if you were anything that was off color, anything that was not just like for every age, controversial, you
general audience, yeah.
So we got shadow banned, and then I came back just a year ago, and I raised for King of Kings, and that raise started to help me make a little bit of the money back. But you know, we're still not in any place where anybody's profiting. Everybody owns a stake in this book. I can't pay anybody back. I'm filling the fucking hole for doing that book. So I
a lot of pro rata work, you know, where you're banking on its success. And that's the way. Hey man, I hate to really cut this short. I
know that I have to go, which is why I want to wrap this up.
Go right ahead.
Sort of like the pinnacle of my whole journey, and really kind of getting together with you and people like you and in the industry, because I really believe it's about community, man, and it's about helping each other out. And it's like, you know, you can be good and I can be good, and your company can be great and my company can be great, and your company can do this and my company can do that. You know, like, there's always room for people to be doing. Different people have different ideas about everything, and the comic book community just does better the more it is reciprocal and the more it really helps each other. That's when collaborations happen and things that you didn't imagine could occur, you know, prop up all the time. And the history of comics, if it's taught me anything, it's that community is what has made this thing great in the fucking first place. It's the community of fans that rose up to become pros to make the next wave of comics that happened in the fucking 70s mind-blowing to the people who grew up reading them in the 60s, because they were the people who went, no, this could be even better. And I'm one of those people who have sat here going, no, this could be even better. Let's fucking do it. And I am not going anywhere. I have so many ideas. My goal in my life is just to be touring conventions, doing concerts at night at the local clubs with my band Dilf USA, hanging out at the show, having a great time, you know, sharing my love for comics with people, interacting with
creative people and geeky people that I love buying toys, and then go home and work and write comics and do podcasts during the week, and then I go out and do more conventions and more concerts the next weekend.
And then go giggle all the way to the bank like a little schoolgirl.
Exactly. I will giggle all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
And you know what? It won't be long before this is very, very reasonable thing that I can do, and I'll be making enough money. You won't have to worry about me so much. But right now, you guys really do. You have to worry about me because this is taking forever. It just takes so fucking long. If I can't get enough of my feet underneath me to do what I need to do to make it go fast. Because like right now, if Fucking for Our Future doesn't make at least like $15,000 to $20,000, I'm not going to be able to immediately go and say, hey, Andrew Dollhouse, I need you to start coloring King of Kings #2 right now.
Right.
Because I need to put, because I'm going to immediately start building that page. That thing's going to be launching a month from after, you know, people are going to be getting Fucking for Our Future, and I'm going to be launching King of Kings #2 with the pre-order and all these other things. You know, so it's this whole system. But if I get delayed 1 month, I can't afford. I cannot afford to have month delay because I have to wait for the people doing my covers and I have to wait for the people doing whatever. It's really tough. So if you feel passionate about any of the things that I'm saying, and you think anybody else might feel that way, go. Be executive producers. Be whatever else. Trust me when I say I will not be able to help myself. If you have helped me at this stage of the game, move out of this stage where it is difficult into a stage where it is just a little easier, and I know you're one of the people to blame for why I'm not in that fucking state anymore, dude, I will owe you for my entire life as far as I'm concerned. And every time I see you, you will be, it's the president! Hello! Nice to see you!
Hello, Akbar!
You know, and I already
God
feel
is
that way
great.
about
You know, it's one of those moments.
Yeah, $10 and $20 and $30, and I'm like, thank God for you guys. But you know, if you're somebody who wants to get in here and help us in any more meaningful way, and we do have some people who are kind of coming out of the woodwork to maybe throw us some money, but I want to really be able to put a lot of my own money in this thing. Please back Fucking for Our Future.
Hey, well, you know what? Today on the show, we got you a backer.
Yes.
It's only one, but hey,
That's all we
man.
need. That's all we need. One, and now I'm going to go do another show, and I'm going to get more.
Hell yeah. That's right.
Jesse.
Hell yeah.
Well, I got to go do this other show now, my brothers. But
Yep,
thank
same
you
here.
on there. I so appreciate what you said last night, Tank. When I see
Hey,
messages like that and I get those in the middle of these things, sometimes I'm a little self-conscious about myself. I got a big mouth, I talk or whatever, and sometimes people take me the wrong way, and I worry about myself. So when all of a sudden I see a comment that says, "I get you, Jess," like, thank you, thank you.
I
because
get it.
makes me feel like, okay, maybe people are hearing my love and not, you know, that I'm like confident in what I can do. You know, because
what I see is not this person who's waxing enthusiasm about the subject. This is a genuine enthusiasm, a passion, a love, a want, a desire, a need to entertain, and it's like, you know what? Hey, this so happens can make money, but you know, or you know, we talk about, you know, you're talking about dropping a $20,000 investment into this book, and by my math, you're nearly $12,000 short still, you know, and we got to get you there.
All right, guys. I guess we'll stream Tank. It was great to meet you, King League. Thanks for hanging with me, guys.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
Bye-bye.
Roger that. Charlie Mike, man. Continue, Charlie Mike till Mike Charlie. That means continue mission until mission is complete. And on that note, we're going to jump out of here and we're going to go jump on. We're going to go check out Red Valkyrie. It's time for the regeneration cycle. So plug in, you Borglings. It's time to be ass laminated. Oh, wait, no, assimilated.
Yep.
Listen to the dulcet sounds of my voice. Dude, Jess, he's a card, man. I love him. I love him. He's great. We instantly clicked, and it's been a blast, and I definitely want to hang out with him again.
Yeah, we gotta bring him on again, man.
Yeah, we definitely do. Unfortunately, we never got to what was in the bag, other than, I mean, because this giant awesome thing just popped out of the bag, and it was full of boobies.
Yeah, boobies.
Boobies. Lots of boobies. And it was beautiful. And so yeah, no, go on over to Red Valkyrie Regeneration Cycle, and I'm gonna hit him up and see if we can't get see if StreamYards did that recording thingy where he can send us a copy of that, because he was laying down some solid wisdom there. That I'm like, me being hearing impaired and spending many years on a microphone listening to broken radio traffic was dude, good stuff. Now we're gonna have to have him on again. Let's see here. This next Friday, 7:30 Eastern. Is that what we're doing?
We'll aim for 7 this time, so that way we're not overlapping with Red Valkyrie.
That sounds good. That sounds good. 7, because then that gives us a good, hour 15, hour 20 minutes. And then we can do like all the proper outros. Because unfortunately, Jesse had to run in such a hurry, and we still need to run. But dude, go check him out. Go check out this campaign. Link is in the chat. We'll go ahead and pop it in the description after the show. Sound good?
Sounds good.
And yeah, definitely check this out. This is a creator worth supporting. And this is the coolest thing I found for the bag this last week. I mean, I was just like, holy moly. And I found some gems, dude. But I guess we'll have to wait till next Friday to find out what's in the bag. Holy moly, it went up again. We got one more. Look at that.
Yeah.
On screen. We got 2 backers on while the program is running active. That's super awesome. I'm going to take credit for it.
All right.
Alrighty, folks.
All right.
Mr. Leak, Mikey Liege.
Yep. Y'all have a good one. Go ahead and but sign up for the Neon Revenant on Indiegogo, and July 27th, 4 p.m. Eastern. It will be launching on Fund My Comic.
It's delicious.
Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
I like it.
All right.
Eat it.
All right. Later, folks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.